Alright, g'day, hi and welcome. We'll see how far I get here. Well, that's a bummer. I couldn't get the freaking machine. I had problems with it last week. And this week it's been... there was cops here when I pulled in 20 minutes ago. Yeah, last week I thought it was just the ignition might have been wet. I had a hard time starting the friggin' lawnmower this week. Like it wouldn't even click. So I think it's an ignition problem. I still got to cut down that tree, but I don't know if you guys can notice it or not, but I cut down that other big ass tree. Got one more big ass tree to cut down. Well, it's starting to get there. Cleaning up. Then I got a huge tree in the back to cut too. So yeah, it's like you don't even get the click. So I thought, I tried everything. I pulled the plug caps off, put them back on. I thought maybe they were loose. It did click once. Every other time it didn't click. So I tapped the starter. I tapped the solenoid, starting solenoid, and that didn't seem to do it. So, and of course, this is the week they have guests. It's like the week. If there's one week that they really want the grass to look good, it's this week. So I got to call them tonight and tell them what's going on, and maybe I don't know. But I could follow that tree at the other place. That's a lot. That's a big loss for me when the lawnmowers don't work. That's money lost, right? And I don't like that. So I messed with it for about 45 minutes, half an hour. Did all the preliminary checks on everything. Yeah, there was oil in it, all that. Checked the battery connections, all that. Mind you, that battery's a real pain in the ass to get into. But even at that, I can. Mind you, that's an old machine. That machine's got to be at least 20 years old, maybe even more. It's a good machine. Like when you start it, it's no problem. But it seems like what I think happens is because it's stored outside, is the rain goes into the ignition and just corrodes everything in the ignition itself. That's my best guess. I mean, it could be, right? But if I had to take a wild guess at it, the most likely, it does feel like there's no engagement to begin with from the key. So if it's wet at all, it'll short out, right? But even if it's only partially wet, it'll still short out a bit, but sometimes it'll catch, and that's usually enough to get it started. But no, I had a hard time with it last week. I had a real hard time with it. Today it was just like, no, it wasn't happening. I thought, well, I got lucky last week, and I mean, it was wet last week, so I don't know, maybe there's still water in it, in the ignition or something. But I figured, well, rather than waste too much time on it, I'll go to the other place and get that one done. See if I can take down that tree, because if they're going to be having guests, I want that tree down just for safety's sake. I was going to wait till I got a bigger saw to do it, but I'm like, oh no, I'll try it. But it's one of those things, once you start cutting into it, you're committed. I'll have to look at, I think the tree's only about this wide around, so I can cut through that, no problem. And yeah, so I'll make that judgment call. Especially when I'm only got one chainsaw left. I can't get many pieces of trigger working right, so yeah. So we'll see what happens. But I feel bad about that. It's like, oh, like big saw this week. You know, like now's the time, right? So, but I really feel bad about that. I mean, there's nothing I don't feel like super bad about it. I mean, it's not my fault. There's nothing I can do about it. But it's just darn. It had to be this week. Couldn't be last. But it was technically last week too. I should have called last week. Well, I did call them last week, but sometimes this client is like, it's phone tag for like a week before we get a hold of each other. Just the way the cookie crumbles, you know. And yeah. And I can't do it tomorrow because, like, I don't like doing work when they're there because, you know, especially if they have guests. Last thing they're going to want to hear is the mower going all day, you know what I mean?